I pray you remember your unstoppable backbeat.
Today we're talking about glow up blindness.
I don't care how many times I have to say this to get you to listen. If you obsess over your appearance, you are not going to be happy no matter what changes. And by that I mean that if you lose the weight, if you get the plastic surgery, it won't matter, because if you're someone who is constantly thinking about this and constantly obsessing about it, you can change all the points on your original list of complaints and you will find new ones.
When I see a top tiered baddie, I'm talking face card, body card, everything, this is a 10 out of 10. When I see that kind of baddie, I'll sit there and be like, oh my God, she looks so good. I'm so happy that she looks so great. That's so great. But as soon as I hear that she had some kind of work done, I'm sorry, my heart does a little flip for joy.
If you are bothered by the fact that you are not the most beautiful woman in a room, you're not the thinnest, you're not the most captivating, you're not the most elegant, if that truly bothers you, you have to ask yourself why.
I've been fat, I've been skinny, and I've had work done. They treat me really well in public, but behind closed doors, they are abusive.
Because why is it that this generation and people basically living in the social media age are so obsessed with glowing up? So many of us have become so obsessed that glowing up is negatively affecting our lives. It's really affecting our relationships negatively. Dating as well. In this video, we're just going to talk about glow up blindness. If you're interested in internet culture and life in general, then you're in the right place. My name is Bobino. Welcome back to my channel. I'm happy to see you, and let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to touch on is the financial aspect of glowing up. What a lot of people don't talk about is how glowing up really is about how much money you have. Like, if you don't have money, trust me, you won't be able to buy skincare, you won't be able to get, I don't know, facials, you won't be able to get your hair done, you won't be able to get your nails done. And on social media, it's pushed as I have to go for like a beauty maintenance. Or even if you're buying your own products at home, like you're spending a lot of money on equipment like UV lights and like those light things. I think they're also UV lights. I don't know, that light thing that the girlies are putting on. I totally get invest in your looks and everything like that, but it's come to a point where it can actually negatively affect you. And so let's just look at some TikToks of some girlies talking about this.
Hard truth about being a put together woman or an aspiring put together woman. This lifestyle is extremely expensive. Yes, it's worth it. Like, I feel my absolute best. I feel like I look my absolute best. I'm genuinely happy when I wake up, when I go to sleep. I love that I'm going to sleep in pajama sets and I'm waking up in pajama sets, that I have cute workout sets, that I have cute work clothes, that I have cute going out clothes. But with not shopping fast fashion and really trying to like invest in my appearance, y'all, there's no way around it, because you're choosing quality now. You're officially choosing quality. Now, there are some places where you can cut corners. Like, I do only get my hair done professionally every few months. I'll do my silk presses at home. And for my nails, I do wait until they grow out. And typically I do get a nude color. This way it's not so noticeable when they grow out, and I can keep them for like almost a month. But everything else, like, sheesh. So I follow all of the Black glow up girlies and I watch their content religiously, and I appreciate it and I take a lot of their advice. But one step that they have skipped, and a reason why I followed them for like a bit now and I'm just now finally actually implementing some of their strategies, that they skipped a really important step, which is get rich.
I remember I got my first YouTube paycheck like 2 months ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, when I get my first YouTube paycheck, I'm gonna buy like a cleanser and a moisturizer, because you know what I've been using to cleanse my face? Hand wash for the past I don't know how many years. And to be honest, it's not very good on the skin, but it's the only thing that doesn't make me break out. Like, whenever, like, even like soap, when I'm like scrubbing myself and it splashes on my skin, pimple. These pimples, I have pimples on my chin here. If you look here, I have pimples on my chin. These pimples come from like when I'm bathing, like scrubbing myself, and it splashes on my chin, you know? So the other day I bought CeraVe and I started using the cleanser and the moisturizer. The moisturizer was working fine, but then the cleanser started making me break out. So again, my face doesn't want to accept that. Like, it's allergic to it. So I don't know why it's allergic. So I stopped using. I was like, okay, I'm going to use one product at a time. So I decided to remove the cleanser and just use the moisturizer. Right now my acne has gone down. But then I'm like, I'm back to using hand wash again. Because I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't buy another bottle of like cleanser like this because it's expensive. So I'll have to wait maybe a couple of months till I'm able to afford to buy another cleanser. So I think getting rich is the first step to glowing up. Trust me, you cannot glow up while you're poor or broke. You have to be rich.
So some advice for me if you're trying to glow up and do it strategically is to only shop sales. So, it's that Black Friday, the 4th of July, the New Year, day after Christmas, Women's Day, all those times you need to shop then and just like keep eyeing things that you want in your cart and update them and then wait until those days to actually press order. When I knew I wanted to revamp my closet, I went on Pinterest and I typed in like essential pieces for outfits, and then I'll like type in Black woman sometimes when I really want to get specific. So I knew that I needed like really nice pants from Aritzia, like black pants. I knew I needed nice bodysuits from like Skims, and I just looked at a lot of things that I could like interchange. Also, instead of buying an entire new closet like at once, I literally split things up based on essentials. For 5 months, I allocated 30% of my paychecks to my new wardrobe because it was super important. If you have any affordable glow up tips, send them my way. I have a lot, so I'm going to try and share more of them.
Yeah, that's very smart. I think you just have to be smart with how you're buying stuff, purchasing, and also how you're investing your money. Because trust me, you will not feel good about yourself if you actually don't have money. You will feel a lot better if you're maybe wearing not the cutest clothes, but you're financially secure. I feel like you would feel a lot better that way than the other way around. So you just have to be smart and realize that when you see influencers looking good, having like nice skin, nice glossy skin, glassy skin, whatever it is, like remember that they're getting a lot of products for free and they're also making a lot of money on top of that. So you cannot compete with them. And don't actually try to compete with them because you just cannot keep up. Don't even try to compete with anyone. You look at your own situation and think about like, okay, what do I need? What do I need and how can I get it?
This is how you're going to become hot AF in just 2 weeks. Like, did she get work done? Heads turning kind of glow up. I've had multiple transformations quarter after quarter. It's what I'm obsessed with. I've helped multiple clients manifest their glow up, so I know what I'm talking about. Save this post.
Multiple transformations quarter after quarter. She's helped clients glow up already. That's like a lot of money that's being invested. And she's talking physical glow up here, and yeah, it could be psychological too, but majority of the time it's physical, and majority of the times it's done for other people to see that you've glowed up. Like I've experienced that, and I know what it's like trying to lose weight or trying to look better because I want other people to see that I look better. But I've come to a point in my life where I'm trying to find that balance of like, even though yes, like deep down, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I do care to an extent what people think about me and how people see me and how people perceive me. Like I do care, but I also realize that there's certain lines that I would not cross for the sake of what people will think about me. Like I would not cross certain lines just to make other people accept me or like think that I'm beautiful. Like I will go to the extent like I'm putting on some makeup right now. I combed my hair. Like that's just basic stuff. But there are just certain things that I would not do for someone else to think that I'm beautiful or worthy, or for someone else to think that, I had a glow up.
Because it's a good one. First things first, let's cover your hair. When you envision the highest version of yourself, the version of you that already achieved her goals, that's popping up, that's hot, that's beautiful, how is her hair? Dye your hair this week, cut it, switch it up. I believe that hair carries energy. When you cut your hair, it's like new avatar unlocked. So switch up your hair, dye it, get some bangs, get some long layers, start styling it in the overnight blowouts for a nice, effortless, voluminous look every single morning. It pulls the entire look together, so don't skip out on this. Second thing I want you to do is gua sha your face daily, preferably 2 times in the morning and before bed. Instantly lifts, snatches, and starts to transform your face. I didn't want to believe it, but here is the proof. It'll start to give you a subtle jawline. You'll look more sculpted without fillers. Third thing is whiten your teeth. First thing that people tend to look at is your mouth. Invest in.
Again, I don't like the fact that the first thing that she goes to when she talks about glowing up is what other people are going to think. I think that's the easiest way and the quickest way to be miserable, because what if you do all that and then people still think you're ugly? You're doing it for them, right? And if they think it's just not good enough, then what was that? What was it all for? So I think you just have to be very careful when glowing up and really understand why you want to glow up and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do.
this is probably relatable, but I don't want to be someone who relates to this. But when I see a top tiered baddie, I'm talking face card, body card, everything, this is a 10 out of 10. When I see that kind of baddie, I'll sit there and be like, oh my God, she looks so good. I'm so happy that she looks so great. That's so great. But as soon as I hear that she had some kind of work done, I'm sorry, my heart does a little flip for joy. And I rejoice just in my head, in like the deepest crevices of the mind. And I had to get that off my chest. I'm sorry. I do.
That makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of us can relate to that, because when you see someone who looks perfect online, someone who has the perfect, I don't know, shape of, I don't know, the nose or the lips or whatever it is, the perfect, the perfect body, you go like, oh my gosh, I want to look like that. But then when you realize that they cut corners to look like that, you then be like, oh, wow, that was close. I almost thought I was hideous. You just have to be like very careful when it comes to like glowing up and looking perfect, because when you look at someone, you don't even know. Sometimes it's just like genetics. Someone is just like genetically dispositioned. I don't know if that's correct, but I heard someone use that, genetically dispositioned to be skinny, than you who's genetically positioned to be thick, like me, for example. I see someone who's like super skinny. Like for me to get to that size, I'm gonna go through hell, Even like my nose. I've got like a button nose. I heard I've got like a button nose. It's like round and stuff like that. Like having like a straight nose. How would it look? Oh my gosh. Like having like a straight nose would be like, I don't know, like surgery, so you just have to be like careful when you see people online, and realize that we're in the era of cosmetic surgery and filters and AI. So you just have to be very careful and realize that you can appreciate someone for looking beautiful, whether they got surgery or not, but just realize that sometimes, or majority of the times, it's not real, it's not realistic. And I think the first step of everything is just to accept yourself. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done. I'm not the most beautiful woman in the world, but also I'm not like having trouble, with people approaching me or anything like that. So it's kind of different when you have someone else who is having a difficult time with having people find them attractive. Like it's easier said than done. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah.
I do that, and I know it's bad, and I check myself, but I do that. And I don't think it should be that way, because it should be that I can see a girl and she's fine, and she's gorgeous, and it doesn't matter if she got work done or not. One, she's still bad regardless, she still looks that way. And two, like, who cares? I look great too. But there's just something about it. I think that TikTok has created a space where we're just so hyper exposed to fine people, and it feels like they're competition. Like these are real people, and there are so many of them, and you don't feel like you're one of them. When really, a lot of them really don't exist. A lot of this is filters and editing, and occasionally, yes, it's work being done. And also, their beauty does nothing to your beauty. It doesn't take from you. You're still you. You still have all the features that you love. You're still unique, and that is important. Hashtag love yourself. Yes.
When we see like an attractive woman, sometimes we can be jealous and we can like hate on them and stuff like that, which I think is not good. Because obviously we're going to feel threatened, which is just like biological, I guess, in a way. You just have to realize and like accept yourself the way that you are. And if you want to get plastic surgery, like whatever it is, like do that. That's up to you, right? But you just also have to be aware of like the things that come with that. And I know stigma is slowly going away because we're again normalizing it. Like even with like my face, like when I look at my face on camera, it looks 10 times better than it looks in real life. Okay, not 10 times better, maybe like a little bit better, Mm-hmm. But like if you look closely, like I do have like spots and like acne, pimples and stuff like that. Like it's normal to not look perfect or glossy or like flawless in makeup. Like when you see those red carpet pictures of like celebrities who look perfect, like the lighting is perfect and all that stuff, then there is also that trend that's going around where they like take those like perfect pictures and then they compare them to like other pictures that have not been like retouched or something like that. And you actually see how flaky the makeup is, like how thick it looks, and it's normal. Like that's just how you look when you have makeup. So you just have to be careful when trying to glow up and look beautiful. And remember that this video has taken a long way. And remember that That's just, you know, you don't have to be perfect.
I think the conversation surrounding beauty is extremely complex and layered, and because of that, it's kind of hard to address all of the issues within this conversation as one person in one video. Now, with that being said, I, Chloe Ferrero, feel that it's important for me to recognize that my strength, my power in this life is not my beauty. It's my humor, my love, my creativity, my ability to communicate with others. Those things, I hope and pray, will prevail, even when I'm in my 80s. But I don't think my beauty will. Now, I also understand that as someone who is conventionally attractive, it's easy for me to decenter my appearance and distance myself from the idea as a whole because my appearance doesn't cause me any problems in this life. I'm straight-sized, I'm a white woman. No one is dogging on me for looking the way that I do. And so I also have privilege in this conversation.
Even though, you know, we might judge other people for getting plastic surgery, you have to realize that people can be cruel and they would say horrible things about you. They will say terrible things. Like even your own family will make fun of you. If you have a big nose, they'll say, oh my gosh, this person, oh your nose, oh that. Or maybe your complexion is a bit darker. They'll be like, oh my gosh, we can't see you in the dark. Or like they will say terrible things about you. And personally, I don't participate in like body shaming or even like for jokes with even family. Like I don't like that and I hate that so much. Or even just like monitoring other people's bodies. Like I get if maybe someone becomes extremely thin and you're like worried for them, like I totally get it. But if someone is having like a fluctuation of like 5 kilos and you're constantly monitoring their weight, like no, let me get back to the video. Let me not start. No.
But I don't think that just because I have this privilege that my perspective should be ignored. And here's the thing, caring about your appearance can actually be very beneficial. It opens doors for you, it allows you to be more comfortable with yourself, it can give you confidence, and it can just make it generally easier for you to navigate this life. But you're always going to be towing the line between caring about your appearance in a way that is beneficial to you, like caring about your hygiene and wearing clothes that you like, and caring so much that it is bleeding into every aspect of your life, preventing you from being your true self, allowing you to pour money into bullshit, and so much more. Truly caring about your appearance and being passionate about it in a way that is very unhealthy, but we don't treat it as unhealthy. It's unhealthy. It's bad for you. And it's a little pointless if you plan on like living a full life, in my opinion.
That's very true. I'm sure we all know a girl who cannot go outside without makeup. We all know a girl who cannot, I don't know, just be herself around people because she wants to present as like this perfect, you know, little girl. Or even guys, you know, there's certain guys who cannot leave the house without looking a certain way because they're like, oh my gosh, the girls are gonna look at me, and you know, they need to think that I'm hot and like I'm beautiful. And like there's just so many things that if you're being obsessed with the way that you look, like you put yourself in like a prison. Like I've genuinely seen people that are just so afraid of like being so happy because of thinking that, oh, I won't look perfect if I'm so happy, or just wearing whatever they want to wear and being comfortable because like, "Oh, I won't look attractive if I'm wearing anything but that, you know? Or if I'm not wearing makeup, you know, I won't be at my peak."
The reason I'm making this video is because on occasion I get the opportunity to introduce my particularly beautiful friends to other people. And I pay close attention to how those other people react to my particularly beautiful friends because I think it says a lot about them. And I need you guys to understand that if you are bothered by the fact that you are not the most beautiful woman in a room, you're not the thinnest, you're not the most captivating, you're not the most elegant, if that truly bothers you, you have to ask yourself why. And you have to ask yourself why you are so willing to leave yourself both emotionally and financially spent all the time because you don't size up to yourself and your own bullshit standards. Because
That's true, because there's certain times when like you're around someone who's more attractive than you kind of feel insecure, you know? You kind of feel like, I don't know. But then I realized something, like I would feel like that, especially when I was like overweight. I would feel insecure about the way I looked, and obviously guys didn't really approach me like that, but that's also an aspect of it. And I know as much as we might not want to accept it as women, like we do care. We care. A lot of us do care. It matters to us, especially if you're like interested in having a relationship, like you do care about that. And I realized something. Like when I like a guy, when I like someone, I don't really worry so much about the physical appearance of a person. Like obviously you have to be attracted to the person to an extent, but then like physical beauty is something that I'm willing to compromise on. And not compromise like in a negative way, but it's something that isn't like the final driving factor when it comes to dating someone. And so I told myself, like, if I'm going to find a partner, like, I wouldn't want them to be with me because I'm just beautiful. Like, I told myself that. Like, I might not be the most beautiful person in the world, but I still want to find someone who loves me for who I am, my personality, and other aspects of my life, because my beauty is not going to be there my whole life.
I learned a long time ago to accept the fact that I'm not going to be the most beautiful woman in a room. I'm not. I'm plenty of other amazing things. I think I'm fucking fire and flame. But I'm not the prettiest. I'm not the baddest. And who fucking cares? I know we're all young and wild and free, and so, like, I get it. Like, I love a bad bitch. I love a girl that gets her nails done and always has her hair done and her makeup done. And I love seeing people at their best. I think it's great to want to look your best, but have limits. If you weren't born to be a 10, you weren't. I was not born.
It's true. I'm like a 7 or 8 on a good day, and that's okay. Like, I genuinely accepted that, and I accepted the fact that I'm not going to be the most beautiful person that you see. I'm not like going to make you like stop and like run after me and like, oh my gosh, I saw this woman. Oh my gosh, she's the most beautiful. No, but I'm gonna be like, you're gonna turn your head and be like, she's cute. I'm that type of person. But I just accepted that there are people that I'm going to find that are going to be more beautiful than I am. But that doesn't mean that I'm not deserving of love or deserving of like being accepted for the way that I look,
To be a supermodel. I was not born to be a knockout. I was born to spread joy and laughter and be a friend. That's what I was born to do. I was not born to be so fucking beautiful that photographers take pictures of me in the street. I was not born to be so beautiful that men are literally going to war over me. And neither were you. I think it was maybe Fiona Apple that said this, but I think we're all a little too self-centered. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe I'm just like, hear me out.
Okay, literally, what would your life look like if you did not care about furthering yourself, optimizing yourself, advancing yourself, or improving yourself? I think that you would realize that you actually have nothing to do with yourself, because everything you do is in this quest or pursuit of perfection. You need to lose a few more pounds. You need to make a few thousand more dollars. Like, everything needs to somehow fix the not enoughness that you feel. You have a free moment to yourself, well, you need to spend that like learning. You're like reading a book or something. And I'm not demonizing wanting to learn, but what I'm demonizing is what motivation is actually backing that action. Are you pursuing that?
The day before yesterday, on Monday and Friday, I usually like go somewhere where I help my mom at her shop because she's not around. So I do like all the stock taking, like buying stuff that's needed and all that stuff. So usually I like go from morning to like, I don't know, 4 or 5, depending on how busy the day can be. And I remember I came back, I ate, because I usually don't eat throughout the day because I find it very difficult to eat. You just know how you just crash out every time, like after you eat. So I ate, had a shower, and then I crashed out. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to wake up and like prepare for the next videos that I'm going to film. But then while I was sitting, I was like, but today's my rest day. Like, I have Monday and Friday as my rest days. So why do I feel the need to have to work even on the day when I'm supposed to be resting? Like, I could just like do nothing and that will be okay. Like, I could literally just be looking at the ceiling and it would be fine. There would be absolutely nothing wrong with that. And so I decided, you know what? I'm not going to work. Instead, I'm just going to rest and take this moment to just do nothing. And that's exactly what I did. And I think it's really important to have this conversation, especially in this world of like grind, do this, do that, make more money. Like, you really need to take care of yourself and rest. Like, take time to rest. You don't have to be constantly learning. You don't have to be constantly chasing stuff. Like, you need to allocate time for resting and respect that.
Action from a sense of I'm not okay as I am, I'm not enough, therefore I need to fill this gap with more knowledge, information, or dollars. I actually realized a couple years ago that this is how I was living my entire life. Every single moment was being used for self-optimization. My ideal self was always in some ideal future, which by the way never came because the future is imagination. And I was essentially just perpetually unhappy. Like nothing was ever enough for me. It was always that I needed more money or more time or more knowledge. It was never allowing the current present self that I was being to be enough. And if I wasn't enough, then I obviously couldn't be happy. So until I realized I was in this pattern, I was stuck in what I call the paradigm of fixing yourself. This is actually what my entire book is going to be about, because you can't fix yourself to a perfect version when you are still stuck in the paradigm of fixing yourself. It is only actually through leaving the paradigm of constantly trying to fix yourself that you become fixed, which isn't actually really fixing at all, because it's realizing that nothing ever needed to be fixed, but you can't realize that in the paradigm where you constantly need another fix. It's kind of like saying,
I totally relate to this, because a lot of the times, like even like when I was working hard, like on YouTube to try and get monetized, like it was all from a place of like fear, and also the fact that I was afraid that people are going to judge me, because like I stopped looking for a job, and obviously the last job I had was it didn't end well. So I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to go all in on YouTube and like try and figure this out. And I was so afraid that people are going to judge me and tell me that I'm wasting my time and all of this stuff. So every moment, every second that I had, I would want to be working. Like if I rested, I felt like I was being the worst person. I felt horrible. I felt bad. But you also need to rest. And I think it's really important to be able to build boundaries and to understand that, yes, you can want to make your life better and there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to set boundaries and understand that there's certain lines that you shouldn't be crossing. And that's for you to decide what lines you shouldn't cross.
I'm going to take away your drugs now. You don't get to experience them. And you being like, but wait, how will I ever feel good again? And then I say, well, we're going to detox from this and you're going to realize that you don't need them anymore. But at this point, you have been completely convinced that you cannot live a life that feels good to you at all without the drugs. But obviously from a higher perspective, you know that there is a reality beyond drugs, and you know that you can restore your original positive state. It really is quite the same with exiting the paradigm of fixing yourself, because when you came into the world, you were unfixable because there was nothing to be fixed. You were literally a perfect, whole, creative, beautiful being who was convinced of imperfection. We are playing the game of imperfection. And leaving the paradigm of fixing yourself is essentially saying, I will no longer play that game.
Well, you need to understand that the moment that you become more beautiful, the moment that you become more attractive, life becomes easy in certain areas, but becomes difficult in other areas. And let's get into that, baby. Why did I do that? I don't know.
I've been fat, I've been skinny, and I've had work done. This has been my experience being all three, because I don't think a lot of people get to experience all three in a lifetime. When I was fat, I had a lot of friends. I felt like I had to be nice and really funny. And that got me a lot of friends, and I think it brought out the best quality of people because I wasn't seen as competition. I had a lot of gay friends, I had a lot of girlfriends. Dating wise, I had a lot of hoes, but I also had no standards and I had no boundaries. They wouldn't take me on dates, you know, they would talk about me to their friends poorly. The hoes were terrible in public, but very sweet in private. Then when I lost a bunch of weight and I was skinny, the shift in my friend group started being like, we don't want to hear you talk, just shut up and look pretty. Now dating, when I was skinny, I got a lot of sorries. There was a lot of people who treated me like shit when I was fat that were coming back like, oh my gosh, you look great. They wouldn't.
Like that is something that a lot of people who have had a transformation, whether it's physical, the majority of the time physical or financial, will tell you that people will change. People will treat you differently. People who never even thought about you will start calling you and being like, oh my gosh, I missed you. Or they run into you and they're like, oh my gosh, I missed you. And you're going to be like, missed who? Missed who? When you change your life in that way, people are also going to change. People are going to treat you differently. And I think a lot of the times when you're overweight, people find you like a comfort person, you know, because they know there's no competition there. And that's the thing that I mentioned again, like with women, when we have someone who's plus size, who's our friend, we don't see that person as a competition. And so they become that comfort person, that comfort friend, because again, hierarchy. It's just, I think it's just nature or something.
Tell me I looked great. It was just like, oh, hey, I'm back. Let's go on a date now. So I ended up getting my body done. It wasn't because of anybody else. It was generally for my own happiness. I hated being skinny, not gonna lie. Got my body done and friends started dropping like flies. And you know, I don't really blame the old friends for dropping like flies, because it's like now you're dealing with like a whole new person. I could speak my mind because I had a new confidence. I had a new ego. I had way more boundaries because I was learning to love myself finally. And it was just one more barrier that I didn't need to break down to be myself. The people I was dating grew, and it was a different caliber of men, but they also just want to show me off as a trophy. Going from not being attractive to conventionally attractive, you know, where people you date want to be seen with you because you're a source of currency, because attractiveness.
Like, that is also like an aspect that we know of, but we just kind of like don't really pay attention to the fact that when you start to look, when you have a glow up, people will think of you as like a prize to show off, you know? People will think of you as like something to show off to other people and be like, oh my gosh, look what I got. People will objectify you and people want to show you off. And if you're someone who's insecure and you haven't really built that inner growth, you haven't had that inner glow up, you're going to be taken advantage of, and you're probably going to find yourself in situations where you're going to be even more sad than you were before you had the glow up.
Is a source of currency in society. They treat me really well in public, but behind closed doors, they are abusive. They try to humble you.
Again, we've seen this with people like Cassie. You know, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful. In public, Diddy was like, oh my gosh, it's my girl, blah, blah, blah. But then behind closed doors, he was punching her. He was doing horrible things to her. You know, he would show her off to people and be like, this is my girl, blah, blah, blah. Behind closed doors, it was something horrible. Like, we've seen this with so many beautiful people who are showed off. I don't know. They're like showed off. I don't know if that's the correct one. Behind closed doors, they're living very miserable lives. It's a double-edged sword. What am I saying? Double-edged sword, whatever. That can actually hurt you and make your life difficult in different ways when you have a glow up.
Yeah, a lot of people everybody wants to humble you. If you look good, everybody hates you. And that's just been my experience so far. And it all comes back to just loving yourself. Like, there's nothing you can do. Love yourself. I love myself the most when I was fat.
If you don't love yourself, one, people will take advantage of you, they will mistreat you. And secondly, when you're very attractive, you're going to be seen as a threat. You're going to be seen as competition. Whenever a woman sees you near her man or anything like that, she's going to feel protective and she's going to want to come in and, you know, even if you're just minding your own business, you know, if her man looks at you in a certain way, she wants to, because she feels threatened by you. So a lot of people will be like, oh my gosh, I cannot introduce that girl to my man. I cannot have her around my man. You know, all of these things, like even like with men, you know, they might feel insecure if another guy has like whatever is more gorgeous, you know, he's taller or he has more money and stuff like that. They might feel insecure of having that guy around their girlfriend and like having that guy, you know, be alone with their girlfriend, like all those things. Like you have to remember that when you're attractive and you're what people aspire to be, they might hate you for that and still want to be you.
I just want to preface this by saying that this is just my opinion about my own life and my own experiences. And I also want to preface this by saying that I am Asian and we are a highly fetishized ethnicity. So I'm ADHD, and because of that, I feel like very few people get along with me. And on top of that, I'm not a very social person, so I don't get along with a lot of people either, and I don't expect a lot of people to get along with me. So while glowing up may have increased my options quantity-wise, quality-wise, it doesn't really make a difference. Especially as someone who's neurodivergent, it takes a lot of effort to date and get to know people. So really there's just more noise to sort through to find a good partner for me. And on top of that, there are now people who are getting close to me solely for the physical aspect of it. Not that there weren't before, but I think there are a lot more now. And whereas before, when I was less physically attractive, I feel like there was less shallow things for shallow people to gravitate towards. So post glow up, I just have a lot more to sort through. And a lot of people want quantity, sure, but I prefer quality. And just because I am considered conventionally attractive now, it doesn't mean the quality of people has gone up in terms of who they are as a person. And again, I'm not complaining. I know a lot of people want options and numbers, but again, I think it is very fair to say that just because you have more options doesn't mean that the options themselves are better quality people.
I remember the other day, my cousin, he was like, oh, and there's this girl that I want to date, like I like her, but then like she's rich and I don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, if I was rich, my life would have been easier. And I remember telling him like, dude, your life would not be that easy if you were rich, because one, the amount of people that would be coming after you would be crazy. Okay. I remember the other day I was watching, my young brother was like watching a streamer, I don't know, something Dennis, something like that. And the amount of girls that would go up to him and be like, I want to lick it. And I was like, what? Have some self-respect. I want to lick it. Like the amount of women that would approach him, like show their boobs and all that. Like that's quantity. That's quantity. The amount of men that approach me every single day when I go out the house, even when I'm not even wearing makeup, and being like, can I get your number? I'm gonna be like, guys, if I gave all of you my number, how many numbers would I have? How many people would be calling me? You know? So I think quantity might seem nice if you haven't experienced it, but it gets really exhausting once you experience it. Like it really genuinely makes your life exhausting. You have to acknowledge that comes with a glow up as well. And so if you have not built any like internal growth and like dealt with like your internal whatever's, you're going to have a difficult time when you're physically attractive, because the internal is the thing that will guide you. It's a thing that will protect you from people that want to take advantage of you. So you just have to be very careful and be responsible and take care of yourself. Yeah, so I would love to know in the comments below what you guys think about glow up blindness. We're constantly being told to be better, and as much as that might be nice, it can sometimes spiral out of control and negatively affect our lives. And I've felt that negativity in a way. It might not be that extreme, but I've felt it and I've experienced it, and I've realized that that's not the kind of life that I want to live. And also the issue of prioritizing how you look over everything else and being obsessed. Like, I get looking good and taking care of yourself is very important. Whether you're male or female, shower every day, brush your teeth, comb your hair, get your hair done, whatever it is. You might get plastic surgery done and people will still say, oh my gosh, you're fake, you're not real. So if you're doing it for other people, you're not going to be happy. And if you're doing it for yourself, like whatever it is. But again, I was watching some videos where a lot of people were saying, as much as a lot of women or men who do plastic surgery say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it for me, you're not really doing it for you. You're doing it because you want other people to see that you are beautiful majority of the times. And even if you look at yourself and you think that there's something wrong with you, it's because other people have told you and they have like engraved it in you, I don't know, in you, that there's something wrong with you. And so whenever you look in the mirror, you see something wrong. Wow, this video is taking a lot longer than I expected it to. I was expecting it to be like a 12-minute video. It's now at 52 minutes. So yes, guys, let me know what you think in the comments on this topic. Have you experienced glow up? Are you glowing up? Whether it's financially, whatever it is. And I know this video was focused on women, but men, do feel free to share your experiences on glowing up, if you've had a glow up, or if you are someone who wants to glow up, and how you're going to try to do it in a more mindful way, you know? Yeah. So if you have reached this far in the video, I would love you to put, what emoji we're going to use this time? We're going to use the girl typing, the girl typing emoji. If you put that emoji in the comments, then I know you. I know you. You're loyal. You're smart. And I appreciate you. Yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh.